Okay, so we're here next to where we store a significant number of our screens. We kind of think of this as the shop standard size, and you'll probably be getting a screen like this checked out to you. Each student gets one screen checked out to them for the duration of the project. Now, if we just take one and pull it down, what do we see? We see a wooden frame with a fabric stretched on it. We see a little bit of staining and this kind of pink stuff. A screen is just a tightly stretched special polyester monofilament fabric flat on one side of a rigid frame. Because screen printing is a stencil process, what we'll be doing is closing off portions of the screen and leaving other parts open. That will be image area, where the ink's going to move through, and non-image area, where the ink will be blocked. So it's just a stencil process. That's it, at its most basic level. What we have to do first, and what you'll probably have to do either once or maybe more than once, is to degrease. So if this screen has been sitting for a while, or if you don't know how long it's been sitting, it's probably collected some dust. Maybe somebody touched it with oily hands. Maybe they rubbed their face all over it. Who knows? So we're going to degrease it so that the emulsion we use to coat the screen later will stick to the fabric. So this screen, by the way, is in pretty good shape. There's some staining. Get a close-up here. You can see some old image stuff there that is not too bad. So none of that's really horrible. The reason this is pink is that's old emulsion that has stained the screen. But it's not just the screen there. When we stretch a new screen, we apply polyurethane around the periphery. One of the details of screen printing is that you cannot put your image really close to the frame. You won't be able to adequately put pressure with the squeegee if you do. So if you want an image, say, this wide, you need a frame this wide. So you need lots of space between the edge of the image, the outside edge of the image, and the inside edge of your frame. So we apply polyurethane around the periphery. That polyurethane is a permanent blockout. We also have the tape, as you can see on both sides, the top of the screen and the bottom of the screen, more tape. That's covering up the staples, and it helps keep water and ink out of there. So over time and over repeated uses, the emulsion will stain the polyurethane. So the color you're seeing there is stained emulsion, but physically beneath that is the polyurethane. So that's fine. What we want to be concerned with is this area in here, where our image is going to fall. Now notice that we don't have all of our lights turned on right now, but we have this bright sunlight coming from the windows. So I'm going to lift this up and set it there so that you see a bright light source coming through the screen from a distance like that. You must inspect your screen in this way. This is the only way you know whether your image area is clean. So you got to get your head right up in there and have the bright light source right behind you so that you can start to see any tiny little bits of gunk in the mesh. If you see some, circle them with a pencil and we can try to blast those out. Any tiny little spot or a distribution of even tinier spots that are sort of clumping, those can be problems. So we want to get rid of all that. We don't have to get rid of this, but we want this clean. Now right now I'm not seeing really any problems in this. Nothing to really be worried about. So this screen's in pretty good shape. I'll show you a worse one in a different video in a minute. All we have to do to this one is degrease it, and that's what this video is going to address. So we're going to move this into our washout room. Now because all I'm going to do is degrease with Dawn soap, I don't have to worry about any fumes. If I had fumes, I would use this one with the ventilation, but I don't, so this one's fine. I'm going to use both the garden sprayer and that, so the first thing I'm going to do is turn on the cold of the garden sprayer, and I'm going to get the screen wet. Just getting it wet, and then I'm going to take the Dawn, which lives up top. Notice things are color coded, so we use the blue handled scrub brushes for Dawn and soap products. Red is emulsion remover, which we'll talk about in another video. Red scrubbers for that. And this is emulsion remover to refill these. And then that's haze remover and ink wash, which we'll talk about in yet another video. So I'm going to take the Dawn, and I'm just going to dribble a little bit on there. Don't need a lot. And I'm just going to scrub. Oh, I'm making some bubbles. That's nice.
You're like the bubble guy.
And turn it around and scrub this side. Okay, that's really probably adequate. Now at this point, when I rinse it off, probably the garden sprayer is enough, but that doesn't really provide that much pressure. We'd be much better off at this point to make sure that everything is gone. One of the things about prepping your screen is that you want nothing on the fabric, not residual soap, not skin oil, not chemicals, not cleaning agents, not ink, not emulsion, nothing. You want your screen fabric perfectly, perfectly clean. So we want to get rid of everything else and the soap. So to do that, we're going to blast it out. So I'm going to turn on the valve of this water compressor to that gun. I'm going to turn it on. It's going to get real noisy. Spray on this side as little as possible. Notice I did a lot of spraying on the other side. The reason being that on the underside it's flat, so that's going to spray back less water on me. I do need to spray this side, but I want to do the major spraying on the back facing me and not the front. So you'll see maybe a little more water kicking back because of the frame. Notice that I turn the motor off immediately. As soon as I release the trigger, the motor goes off. You can't leave that motor running because it cycles under pressure, it'll pop a hose. And then because I know I'm done, immediately come over and turn off the water supply to that gun. I'm done here too, so I turn off that water supply. All water supplies turned off as soon as I'm done. Shake off some of the excess water. You can see that you're gonna get sprayed. So warning, never wear really nice clothes into printmaking. This is ready. All it has to do now is dry. And for drying, we're gonna put it right here. Notice the two fans. We use these pegs just to lock it and keep it from falling. Now how do I turn on those two fans? We've got kind of a funky system. You come back over here and there's this surge protector and you just flip that switch. The fans are already plugged into that, so by flipping that switch, the fans come on. And this will be dry in about 10, 15 minutes. More like 10, as long as the fans are going well. Okay?